IBM announcing a $34 billion deal to buy Red Hat, a software firm specializing in open source and cloud computing. IBM for years installed mainframe servers on clients' premises, but it faces dwindling revenue as more and more firms are opting to store data on the cloud. Servers on clients' premises, but it faces dwindling revenue as more and more firms are opting to store data on the cloud. The acquisition announced Sunday is by far IBM's biggest to date and underscores CEO Ginny Rometty's efforts to expand the company's business away from legacy servers and position it to better compete with firms such as Amazon, Google parent Alphabet, and Microsoft in the rapidly expanding cloud space. In a statement, Rometty called the deal, quote, a game changer. IBM will become the world's #1 hybrid cloud provider. Hybrid cloud is how IBM refers to its services that combine on-premises and cloud-based computing. Red Hat was founded in 1993 and specializes in Linux operating systems. Linux is a popular type of open-sourced software meant to let clients customize the programs to their needs. Headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina, Red Hat charges fees for customer features, maintenance, and tech support, now potentially lucrative revenue sources for IBM. IBM shares have lost almost a third of their value in the last 5 years, while Red Hat's stock has climbed 170% in the same period. The deal illustrating how older tech firms are using acquisitions to catch up with newer trends, gain scale, and fend off competition.
A political split played out on the streets of Brazil Sunday night after far-right populist Jair Bolsonaro won the presidency. Riot police with tear gas deployed to put down protests on some streets, while on others, Brazilians turned out in the thousands to celebrate. Bolsonaro is an outspoken admirer of U.S. President Donald Trump. He's campaigned on promises to clean up politics and crack down on crime. He won around 56% of the votes. Reuters' Gabriel Stargarder reports from outside the next president's house.
Bolsonaro has energized support across Brazil, where people have been grown tired of years of rising violence, corruption and impunity. They've also tired of the leftist Workers' Party, which ran Brazil for 13 of the last 15 years, and who many blame for a terrible recession and all the laundry list of problems that currently afflict Brazil.
Bolsonaro has signaled he'll take a hard line in tackling the country's problems. His plan to crack down on crime includes giving police more power to shoot at criminals. Critics warn he's likely to trample on human rights, curb civil liberties, and muzzle freedom of speech. Bolsonaro says Donald Trump has already called to wish him luck.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today.
Officials on Sunday identifying the 11 worshippers shot to death inside a Pittsburgh synagogue.
75-year-old Joyce Feinberg, 65-year-old Joyce Feinberg, 65-year-old Richard Gottfried.
Victims of the deadliest attack ever on American Jews. Many of the murdered were elderly and members of the tightly knit and historic Squirrel Hill Jewish community.
97-year-old Rose Mallinger of Squirrel Hill. David and Cecil Rosenthal were brothers. Bernice and Sylvan were husband and wife.
Contact, shots fired.
A gunman stormed the Tree of Life Sanctuary on Saturday, opening fire on congregants. Prosecutors said the suspect, 46-year-old Robert Bowers, exchanged fire with cops racing toward the carnage. Bowers eventually surrendered and is currently in custody.
Our complaint charges Bowers with 29 separate federal crimes. There are 11 counts of murdering victims who are exercising their religious beliefs. There are 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder, and each of these counts is punishable by death.
The Anti-Defamation League describing the massacre as the deadliest attack on the Jewish community in U.S. history. On Saturday night, after the end of the Jewish Sabbath, candlelight vigils across the nation to mourn the victims. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet observed a minute of silence. At the Vatican, Pope Francis condemned the attack. The gunman repeatedly posted anti-Semitic messages on social media, including several that mentioned the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, a Jewish refugee organization. Before Saturday's shooting, the gunman wrote that Hayes, quote, likes to bring invaders in that kill our people. I can't sit by and watch my people get slaughtered. Screw your optics, I'm going in.
During the course of his deadly assault on the people of the synagogue, Bowers made statements regarding genocide and his desire to kill Jewish people.
The White House on Sunday flying the flag at half-mast for Pittsburgh's victims. The massacre coming amid rising fears over politically and racially motivated violence in the U.S. Last week, police charged a Florida man with mailing pipe bombs to Democratic Party figures, liberal donors, and the CNN News Network. No one was injured by the explosives. Investigators said the Pittsburgh gunman appears to have acted alone, and they do not view him as a domestic terrorist. Bowers is set to be arraigned in federal court on Monday.
The fiancé of slain Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. She says she's refused an invitation to meet U.S. President Donald Trump because she believes it would amount to a PR stunt. Hatice Cengiz cried multiple times in her first television interview since the killing. The Turkish woman says she doesn't believe the White House is being sincere in its efforts to bring the perpetrators to justice.
His statements contradicted each other over a very short time period. I perceived it as an attempt to win public sympathy.
Cengiz was one of the last people to see Khashoggi alive before he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, never to emerge. Security cameras captured their last moments. Saudi Arabia claims the critic was murdered in a rogue operation. The U.S. and Turkey have a tumultuous relationship, though. They back opposing factions in Syria's civil war, and President Trump has placed sanctions on the NATO ally that have helped drive its currency into crisis mode. Saudi Arabia's public prosecutor will visit Istanbul on Sunday. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan is demanding that Saudi reveal the location of Khashoggi's body and who ordered the killing. Khashoggi had gone to the consulate to get marriage documentation.
You're up to date. For more, download the Reuters TV app on